Friends, welcome back. So this is my first summer on BookTube. So this is going to be my first mid-year freak out tag video. I've seen a bunch of people do this, so let's get into it. So the first question, what is your favorite book so far of 2020? This question is so hard, and I feel like there's such a recency bias when we talk about books that we've read, because I feel like I've read so far 39 books this year, but I keep thinking to the ones that I've read like this month. So you may be hearing a lot from, my June reading list, but I'm gonna say it is a book that was actually, I think the last book that I finished may have been my favorite, and that is An American Marriage. This book is so beautiful, you guys. Like, it's so touching, and it's just a tragic love story of basically this newlywed couple, and basically the husband ends up being put in jail for a crime that he didn't commit, and there's a whole story that unfolds from there of kind of how their relationship is impacted by that. So yeah, I would highly recommend this book. Again, I don't know how much recency bias this is because this was, the last book I finished, but there you go. Number 2, the best sequel that you read so far this year. This one is easy because I have not read any sequels this year, so I'm gonna go with not applicable. Okay, the next question is the new release that you haven't read yet, but you want to. This one, I feel like this is kind of cheating because I'm like, I don't know, a third of the way through this book, but the one that I'm actually reading right now is Home Before Dark. Currently, I think we're like a few days ahead of the release date. I love Riley Sager. I feel like he is for sure one of my favorite mystery and thriller authors. So of course I had to pick this up, and I got it from Book of the Month. So yeah, kind of cheating because I'm already reading it, but I haven't read it yet. So, it's still in process. So yeah, there you go. Next question, my most anticipated book for the remainder of the year. That one I would say has to be Ruth Ware's latest book, which is One by One. Again, Ruth Ware, similar to Riley Sager, I feel like is my one, like an auto-buy author for me. I will buy and read pretty much anything she puts out. So yeah. Also, like, I don't know how everyone like knows all of the books coming out for the rest of the year. Like, they have a radar of like all of these books coming out. I'm like, I don't really know that many books. Like, I know maybe like 2 or 3 books that are coming out, and I just told you about them. So next question is my biggest disappointment. So for this question, I feel like some people, they just say like their lowest rated book or like their least favorite book. These were not necessarily my least favorite books, but they were definitely my most disappointing. Like, these were books that I actually had high expectations for that I ended up just not liking at all. I gave these both 2 stars. The first one is The Wives. I guess because I read so many mysteries and thrillers, I have like higher expectations of them, perhaps more so than other genres. So yeah, this was super disappointing. Also, another thriller, but more of like a science fiction thriller, Recursion. These both were not good. I did not like them. So yeah. Next, the biggest surprise. So this one's hard because it's like, I don't really go into a lot of books with low expectations. Like, I expect that most books I read I'm going to like. That is why I picked them up. But a book that maybe I didn't have that high expectations for, that I did rate 4.5 or 5 stars, was A Nearly Normal Family. I think I had low expectations of this one because it reminded me a lot of The Chestnut Man, because they're both written by, I want to say, Swedish authors, and they were both translated to English. So for some reason I had a negative like initial impression of this, but I had it on my shelf and I ended up getting a recommendation from one of you guys to read this book, and I loved it. It was a huge positive surprise for me. So yeah. Next question is my new favorite author, debut or new to you? And this one again is like the recency thing, but I would have to go with Tayari Jones, who wrote An American Marriage. Now, she is not a debut author. She has written several books prior to writing this book, but I have not read them. I have never read any of her work before, but after finishing this, I definitely want to pick up some of her earlier writings. Like, I feel like this, again, I know I've already talked about this book, but it just felt like such a modern classic to me. Like, I could totally see this becoming like required reading or like being used in English classes. And I don't know, this book was so good. I loved it, you guys. So I would love to check out some of her other stuff. So yeah, my newest favorite author. Next question is my newest fictional crush. And I feel like this is so hard. I really don't have that many fictional crushes. Like, I feel like most of the books I read have female main characters, and I am, you know, into guys. So I feel like for the most part, the guys that are in the books I read are just like little side characters, and you know, who cares about them? So I don't know. I don't really develop a lot of fictional crushes. I don't know. I really don't have a good answer to that, but I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye out, and hopefully next year I'll have a better answer for you. Newest favorite character. This one is hard again. Like, again, when you say newest, then I would probably go with Celestial in American Marriage. I really liked her character. But as far as like other stuff that I've read a little bit more previously, I really liked Shay's character from You Are Not Alone. I feel like I really related to a lot of things about her. So yeah, I don't know. Books that made you cry. So there were several books so far this year that have made me cry. I would say the one that was like the most consistently sad and heartbreaking has to be The Only Plane in the Sky, which is an oral history of 9/11. This book was just like so heartbreaking. It's basically, it takes a bunch of interviews and firsthand accounts of people who were like closely involved with the terrorist attacks of 9/11. So it has people's accounts from like inside the plane, inside the World Trade Centers, inside the Pentagon. It has air traffic control people who were talking to people in the planes. Like, it was such a heartbreaking book, and I definitely teared up several times in that book. That's another book that I gave 5 stars. I would highly recommend it. It's not an easy read. It's definitely, the subject matter is really obviously dark and challenging, and it's super sad. So yeah, I definitely cried on more than one occasion reading that book. Books that made you happy. I don't know. I'm really tempted to say Happy and You Know It because, like, obviously, but I don't know. I would say maybe Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This is a book that I read. It's kind of like a feel-good self-help book, like go for your dreams, like live life to the fullest kind of book. And I feel like it just gave me optimism about life, and like that you can always change the path of your life, and felt like her story was really inspirational. So yeah, I would say Untamed probably. My most favorite book cover. I feel like this is also going to be the same answer, but I feel like the Untamed book cover is really pretty. I feel bad choosing an audiobook for this because I feel like I should be choosing a physical copy, but I mean, come on, like the cover is just so pretty. I love covers like this. Like, go bold, you know what I mean? Okay, the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And this one is so hard because I feel like there's so many books that I would like to read, and it's so hard to get to them all. But some books that I have already purchased that I have sitting around that I do want to get reading or want to finish. Obviously, I talked about this, but Home Before Dark, this is the one I'm reading right now. So definitely need to finish this. Let's see what else I have. Okay, The Lies We Told. I have no idea what this is about, but I have it on my shelf and it looks appealing to me. So I want to read A Good Neighborhood. I probably want to read No Exits. Here are 2 other books. I want to read Since We Fell. I have no idea what this is about, but it seemed appealing to me. And then also The Book of Longings. I have this on my shelf. It's calling to me, and I'm gonna read it before the end of the year. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's many others, and maybe I won't even read those. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that was it. Let me know your thoughts on any of these answers. And yeah, until next time. Bye, guys.